Exile on Saint Helena. Napoleon was held in British custody and transferred to the island of Saint Helena in the Atlantic Ocean, 1,870 kilometers from the west coast of Africa. Napoleon and 27 followers arrived at Jamestown, Saint Helena, in October 1815 on board HMS Northumberland. The prisoner was guarded by a garrison of 2,100 soldiers, while a squadron of 10 ships continuously patrolled the waters to prevent escape. In the following years, there were rumors of escape plots, but no serious attempts were made. Napoleon stayed for 2 months at a pavilion in Briars before he was moved to Longwood House, a 40-room wooden bungalow. The location and interior of the house were damp, windswept, rat-infested, and unhealthy. The Times published articles insinuating the British government was trying to hasten his death. Napoleon often complained of his living conditions in letters to the island's governor, Hudson Lowe, while his attendants complained of colds, catarrhs, damp floors, and poor provisions. Napoleon insisted on imperial formality. When he held a dinner party, men were expected to wear military dress and women appeared in evening gowns and gems. It was an explicit denial of the circumstances of his captivity. He formally received visitors, read, and dictated his memoirs and commentaries on military campaigns. He studied English under Emmanuel, Comte de Las Cases for a few months but gave up as he was poor at languages. Napoleon also circulated reports of poor treatment in the hope that public opinion would force the Allies to revoke his exile on Saint Helena. Under instructions from the British government, Lowe cut Napoleon's expenditure, refused to recognize him as a former emperor, and made his supporters sign a guarantee they would stay with the prisoner indefinitely. Accounts of the mistreatment led, in March 1817, to a debate in Parliament and Henry Vassall Fox, 3rd Baron Holland's call for an inquiry. In mid-1817, Napoleon's health worsened. His physician, Barry O'Mara, diagnosed chronic hepatitis and warned Lowe that he could die from the poor climate and lack of exercise. Lowe thought O'Mara was exaggerating and dismissed him in July 1818. In November 1818, the Allies announced that Napoleon would remain a prisoner on Saint Helena for life. When he learned the news, he became depressed and more isolated, spending longer periods in his rooms which further undermined his health. A number of his entourage also left Saint Helena, including Las Cases in December 1816, General Gaspard Gourgaud in March 1818, and Albine de Montholon, who was possibly Napoleon's lover, in July 1819. In September 1819, 2 priests and a new physician, François Carlo Antimarchi, joined Napoleon's retinue. Death. Napoleon's health continued to worsen, and in March 1821 he was confined to bed. In April he wrote 2 wills declaring that he had been murdered by the British, that the Bourbons would fall, and that his son would rule France. He left his fortune to 97 legatees and asked to be buried by the Seine. On May 3rd he was given the last rites but could not take communion due to his illness. He died on May 5, 1821, at age 51. His last words, variously recorded by those present, were either France, l'armée, tête d'armée, Josephine, France, the army, head of the army, Josephine, or Carrecul, à la tête d'armée, who retreats at the head of the army, or France, my son, the army. Antimarchi and the British wrote separate autopsy reports, each concluding that Napoleon had died of internal bleeding caused by stomach cancer, the disease that had killed his father. A later theory, based on high concentrations of arsenic found in samples of Napoleon's hair, held that Napoleon had died of arsenic poisoning. However, subsequent studies also found high concentrations of arsenic in hair samples from Napoleon's childhood and from his son and Josephine. Arsenic was widely used in medicines and products such as hair creams in the 19th century. A 2021 study by an international team of gastrointestinal pathologists once again concluded that Napoleon died of stomach cancer. Napoleon was buried with military honors in the Valley of the Geraniums. Napoleon's heart and intestines were removed and sealed inside his coffin. Napoleon's penis was allegedly removed during the autopsy and sold and exhibited. In 1840, the British government gave Louis-Philippe I permission to return Napoleon's remains to France. Napoleon's body was exhumed and found to be well preserved as it had been sealed in 4 coffins, 2 of metal and 2 of mahogany, and placed in a masonry tomb. On December 15, 1840, a state funeral was held in Paris with 700,000 to 1 million attendees who lined the route of the funeral procession to the Chapel of Les Invalides. The coffin was later placed in the cupola in St. Jerome's Chapel, where it remained until Napoleon's tomb, designed by Louis Visconti, was completed. In 1861, during the reign of Napoleon III, his remains were entombed in a sarcophagus in the crypt under the dome at Les Invalides.